Hello again, guys. It's Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair, and this is a continuation of one of my first Mad Scientist videos having to do with the fact that my favorite multimeter of all time, the one that's wide enough to sit at the bottom of a stack of equipment and support everything above it, unfortunately does not last very long because it is an old, very old style meter, and I've had like 3 or 4 of them. They've all lasted about a month before they crapped out on me. So in my previous video, I mentioned how I'm converting this meter, basically gutted the inside, took everything out, and converted it to something that I can use more and that's more easily serviced and basically more useful. And so we're ready to unveil the new box I've made out of this thing. And so we're just going to go ta-da, and there we are. What I've done with this thing is I've made it to where I can slide in and out a newer style meter. It's a GW Instech model GDM 8135, which is laid out very much like a Fluke, one of the more popular Fluke meters like the 8010 and the 8050. The layout is almost pretty much identical to the Fluke wood, but it has this additional little continuity test beeper, which I like quite a bit because I don't have to look up at the meter just to test continuity. It just beeps and lets me know that I've got a complete circuit there. And so this is going to be a pretty cool little meter. It's going to sit at the bottom of a stack, and I had mentioned in my previous video that, you know, installing this meter, and with this meter, if this meter ever craps out, all I have to do is just slide it out, and I've got other units of the same model laying around, and I just take the cabinet off of the new one and slide it right in there, and it's ready to go. It's a matter of maybe 5 seconds to replace the meter, instead of having to tear down the entire stack of gear and taking a half a day to do something about the meter. So in my previous video on this subject, I mentioned that it leaves a lot of open space on the left side, which I was kind of hoping to find something to put there, something that would be truly useful, and I actually have found something that'll be very useful in that. So first of all, I'm just going to go into, this is just your left front, left rear, and right rear level controls that come from my 4-channel bench setup. When I test, 4-speaker systems, and my new receiver is a digital type receiver, which only has a rotary volume control. All the other controls, like having to do with balance and tone, are deep down buried in menus. Which I really don't like to do when I'm in the middle of a job. I don't like to have to go through menus. I want to just reach up and and turn some knobs. It's much quicker that way. So that's what these are going to be for. And then and that was an original part of the plan to repurpose this box. Incidentally, I hate the word repurpose, but it's become common, so I have to use it. And so that leaves just a little bit of more spare space over here, which I was kind of hoping to find something useful to put in there. And during the course of making this little change, I have definitely found something useful. The little TV that I watch at the bench for entertainment, for my DVD player and internet stuff, it's the little TV. It is a digital TV without a rotary knob for volume, so it's got your volume up down arrows, and it takes a good 30 seconds to go from 0 to full volume. And so if I'm in the middle of a job and watching my little entertainment TV and I get a phone call, I don't want to have to take 15-20 seconds to lower the volume on my TV. So that's what I've done with this knob here. My DVD or whatever I'm listening to is going to plug in here with this as the volume knob before it goes out to my little digital TV. It could be used for a bunch of other stuff too, but this is just going to be a really quick way to turn down the TV when a call comes. When I hang up the phone, I crank it right back up. I don't have to deal with volume up, down buttons or menus. And then down here, I have come up with a much better idea for using that space. I have built a tape head preamp, actually the one that I have designed myself, that I install into conversion jobs. And there's sometimes I want to be able to test the head on a customer's unit without the preamp and all of their stuff, getting in the way. I just want to go straight from the head into into an amplifying unit just to see what the head sounds like or if it even works. And well, a head does not put out enough signal to drive the auxiliary input on an amplifier. So I built a tape head preamp into here, and so I just plug a couple scope probes into these jacks right here, and I can apply that scope probe directly to the head itself. And I actually had built a preamp subber. A couple years ago, I built this little. It's just a head tester. It's got a built-in tape head preamp. Only thing is, it's a separate box. requires an outlet, and it's nothing that I can really conveniently keep on the bench at all times. Whereas this one is already built into my entire bench setup. And I don't even have to hit any switches. This thing, the little preamp, consumes so little power that I just have it wired to be operating all the time. It's not going to hurt a thing. The thing only consumes about maybe 40 or 50 milliamps. That's 40 or 50 thousandths of an amp. So it's not going to hurt a thing to just have this little tape head preamp powered up at all times. And then this, of course, will be the level control for the output of that preamp, so I can regulate the volume of that. So basically, I have done a really cool job repurposing this old Fluke meter. It is now a meter that can be replaced in a matter of 5 minutes, and then it's also got some other cool stuff over here to make my job easier and faster. And because my the output level meters that I use on all my YouTube videos that I'm sure you've seen by now, the position of these knobs perfectly matches the layout of the volume level meters, so I don't even really have to label them. I know exactly which one's left rear and right front and all that, so there's no need to label them, no need to clutter this thing up with excess labels. And then something's going to be plugged into this at all times, either my DVD player or whatever I'm listening to, whatever I'm using to watch my little bench TV. There's always going to be something plugged in here, so I'll be very used to the fact that this is how I turn down my up and down my little entertainment device. And then this one here, this is my tape head preamp, and since this one won't be used except when I'm testing a head, I'll know instinctively what this is for anyway, so there's really no need to clutter this thing up with labels down here. And so that's my cool little meter to replace that big old wide meter on my bench setup. So now I can get my test receiver, my old test receiver out of there, clean up behind that equipment because it always gets dusty and crappy back there, and then I can put my new receiver in place. Actually, I'll put this in place. This will go on the very bottom of this stack because the meter is what I'm going to want to use most easily and most often. So this meter is going to be like right in front of me, and I'll be able to stack a bunch of other stuff on top of it without having to worry about what if this meter craps out. I got to tear the bench apart again. So now I can just pull this meter right out and slide a new one right in, and that's it. So I just thought I'd kind of share with you guys my latest little mad scientist project, and I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Came out nice and neat. Looks like it's going to be very easy to use, and so we'll just go with that. And I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys. I know that you probably have about as much interest in it as as a bowl of cereal, but just thought I'd share it with you guys. This is Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. If you have an 8-track player either for home or for car use in need of service, you can reach me directly at 928-533-9666. I also do FM conversions on classic car AM radios, and even if they're already AM FM, doing a modern conversion will greatly increase the output power and add some cool new features like Bluetooth, USB reader, line input, and on some radios I can even double the number of FM station presets if that's the customer's desire. So thank you very much for watching and listening. My website is in the description below. We'll see you next time.